The dreadful small talk. No common interests. Loud and overbearing. I could finish this video right here, but let's indulge ourselves and talk about real reasons why we Sigma males prefer our own company. Obviously, we are not going to talk about partners and close family, but the real lack of desire to go after superficial friendships. Friendships that bring no real value to our lives. Friendships that just take our time and keep us away from what's important to us. This video will be slightly different and personal. If you relate to it, tell me your story in the comments. Let's roll. Reason number 6, real value. Building meaningful and valuable relationships has always been a challenge. I have often found myself preferring to cultivate deeper connections to those few around me instead of settling for superficial bonds that simply exist on the surface. This approach largely stems from my desire to bring people into my life who can offer something tangible and irreplaceable. Those who will provide real value to my life, rather than merely fill up space with people who I do not have a great deal of meaningful connection with. Instead of just looking for casual friends, I believe in assessing what someone can add to my life that can make me better and contribute positively to it. It might sound selfish. Well, it is. I think it's important to carefully consider how somebody could be beneficial in both the short term and the long term. Whether they can push me out of my comfort zone in a positive way by introducing me to new ideas or activities. If they offer an alternative perspective when I'm feeling stuck on something or feeling some kind of void. It is also key for them to be dependable enough that I can rely on them during difficult times, since having true friends means having someone who will stand by you regardless of the situation. However, this process can take a long time, and sometimes we might spend quite long periods without any friends at all. This can be quite difficult, and you should judge this situation based on your own feelings. If being alone makes you feel bad, go and get some people into your life. It's easy as that. There is no shame to it, and it takes nothing away from you being a Sigma. If you feel good in your own company, take your time and don't rush. Reason number 5, obsession. I often become extremely obsessed with new projects and ideas that pique my interest. My tendency to be completely absorbed in something can make it hard for me to form meaningful connections with other people who just don't understand the level of enthusiasm and passion I have for whatever my mind is fixated on. Whenever I find myself attempting to converse with someone, it usually feels fruitless and rather pointless since we lack any kind of mutual understanding. I often become so devoted to a single thought or activity that I shut myself out from the outside world, making it almost impossible for me to connect with anyone else in a social setting since I'm too busy focusing only on one thing. It's rather disheartening at times because no one else seems to comprehend the amount of dedication that I have towards something. But then again, that's oddly reassuring in its own way as well. In many cases, my overly passionate mindset can be quite detrimental due to the sheer intensity of concentration that takes over my body and mind. Being so focused on one particular task or idea means having very little energy for friendships. Reason number 4, attention. I prefer to work on projects that are personally stimulating and bring me satisfaction. I spend many hours researching and fine-tuning these projects in order to maximize my learning potential and become the best version of myself. Although this process is highly rewarding and beneficial for my growth, it often means sacrificing time with friends. When I am forced to make a decision between expending energy on friends or directing it towards self-improvement initiatives, I often find myself opting for the latter due to the lack of inherent reward that is associated with forming friendships. The time commitments required for cultivating meaningful relationships can be immense. While there may be prospects of mutual benefit down the line, the outcome remains uncertain, making it difficult to justify expending such resources when they could be channeled towards more concrete opportunities. Additionally, the success of friendship relies not only on one's own efforts but also those of one's partner, which can be difficult to assess with any degree of accuracy, and that adds further uncertainty into the equation. This makes forming and maintaining friendships a largely unpredictable endeavor in comparison to activities where results are easily quantifiable and immediate gratification is possible. Ultimately, while forging strong bonds with others can undoubtedly enrich our lives in countless ways, sometimes its long-term investment aspect coupled with its unpredictability does not align well with my pragmatic perspective as a Sigma male. Although I remain open to engaging in dialogue and connecting with like-minded people in various settings, this appreciation for relationships will sometimes have to take a back seat, especially when considered against more practical uses of limited resources such as time. Reason number 3, the inner circle. As a Sigma male, I prefer to focus my attention on the people who are already a part of my life, rather than expending energy on trying to forge new connections. Those closest to me get all my care, love, and attention. They fill my world with joy and give me the support and companionship that I need. It's important for me to make sure that these treasured relationships are nurtured, and I want them to know how much I value their presence in my life. Since I'm an introvert by nature, it means that I have far less emotional energy available to me than an extrovert would. That unfortunately limits the amount of time and resources that I can dedicate to forming new friendships or relationships. Building meaningful connections depends upon having enough energy left over after taking care of those closest to me, something which isn't always possible for an introverted individual like myself. Recognizing this limitation allows me to prioritize accordingly. I'm able to focus more on deepening existing relationships instead of constantly pursuing surface-level acquaintances or chasing after something larger than I'm capable of sustaining at the moment. Doing so helps protect both myself and others from disappointment or hurt feelings, while also ensuring that those who are already in my life get the love, respect, and appreciation they deserve for being there for me when no one else is. Reason number 2, being alone. I'm quite content with the fact that I don't necessarily need to have friends or companionship all the time. This provides me with plenty of opportunities to focus on myself and my own goals, while also giving me the chance to be of assistance to those in need around me. I'm not dependent on having a group of friends and acquaintances in order to feel fulfilled and happy. Instead, I take comfort in knowing that my presence can make a difference in someone else's life, whether it be by offering advice, providing financial aid, or anything else that may be needed. Furthermore, this lack of companionship gives me ample amount of time for self-reflection and improvement. Instead of squandering away my nights and weekends mindlessly socializing with people who ultimately won't affect the big picture, I'm able to give attention to areas such as honing my skill set or pursuing some of my passions. This kind of personal growth is essential for any individual looking to progress through life and reach their full potential, something which I value greatly. Ultimately, I'm at peace with being on my own at times, and although friendship can often be enjoyable, it's not necessary for me to achieve everything that I have set out for myself. With this newfound opportunity comes great responsibility as well as an immense sense of satisfaction. Things which are well worth the trade-off, and thus far it has served me quite well. Reason number 1, I don't care. Some people think less of me, or they may be judging my lifestyle because I have a very small inner circle. But as a Sigma male, this does not bother me in the slightest. I know who I am and what I stand for. Rather than focusing on such comments from those around me, I choose instead to focus on working hard to reach my goals. I'm highly independent, and while it may seem that having very few relationships could be seen as a negative thing by some, to me, it can also be incredibly freeing. Without having to worry about the opinions of others all the time, I can make decisions solely based on what will best benefit my future ambitions. This sense of freedom allows me to explore different paths that may lead me closer towards achieving my goals and aspirations. Having fewer people in my life also means that there are fewer distractions and obligations pulling me away from putting 100% into reaching my goals. Instead of having to spend time with people outside of work or other commitments, I am able to use that extra time and energy towards furthering myself along my chosen path. Every moment is precious and should be used wisely, something which is always at the front of my mind when making decisions regarding how best to utilize my time in order for maximum productivity and results. I'm confident in who I am as a person and believe firmly in the power of working hard towards one's dreams. Although having a small inner circle is sometimes viewed as an issue by some people, it doesn't change anything for me. I know where I'm going, and the complete conviction remains steadfastly focused on getting there. If you want to find out more about Sigma males, here is the video you should really watch next. Also, if you are new here, don't forget to like and subscribe to the mensclue channel. Thanks for watching. Lights out.